In this video, we will go through the steps for drawing this landscape. Although it's a very simple scene, I draw this scene quite a bit because I find it both enjoyable and relaxing. I always start with a box because that works as a frame and it gives me an idea of where my composition is. So I'll draw 4 lines to approximately mark out the area that I want my sketch to take up. And this might take a little bit of practice, but these lines don't have to be very exact or precise. Once I've got the lines, I'm going to start with the hills in the foreground. So I'm going to make a series of very gentle curves. I want a kind of a rolling landscape. And so I'm going to draw several different curves, just play around with shapes and configurations. And what we're going to do is just keep the ones that we like. So if you need to, go ahead and draw several extra ones. Once I'm done with the hills, I'm going to draw the tree. And to draw the tree, what I'm going to do is draw a perfectly straight line. That's going to be the center line of my tree. And then I'm going to draw an approximate semicircle to represent the canopy. Now I'm going to lightly sketch out the mountains in the background, making them jagged and pointy, making them again different sizes to convey a sense of depth. Some of them are further away and some are closer to you. And then I'm going to add a few clouds. I'm going to scatter them randomly in the sky. And to get the form for each cloud, what I'll do is draw a few curves, semicircles or quarter circles, and then connect them with a horizontal line underneath. Just put one back here so that it looks like it's further away. So I'm going to now start inking. I'm going to start with the foreground, and using a black ink pen, I'm going to go over the lines for the hills, tweaking the curves a little bit as I go, and darkening lines if they don't come out dark enough the first time. I'm going to outline the tree now. What I'm going to do is approximately follow the shape of the canopy, the semicircle that I drew, but not perfectly because leaves don't grow in a very specific tight line. So what I'm going to do is weave in and out of the profile that I drew and randomly go in and out so that the overall shape is not too regular and not too defined. This can be a multi-step process. You can take a few tries at this and just keep adding stuff until it looks right, and that's perfectly fine because the tree has a lot of texture, so any extra work you do will just become a part of it. And so I'm going to go over it a few times, add areas of darkness to communicate areas of shade, and also to add a little depth. Add some lines to the trunk to create a texture, and then go ahead and finish the hills that are behind the tree. Having done that, I'm going to start on the mountains. One of the reasons I really like sketching like this is because there are no rules and you can improvise as you go, which I really enjoy. So that if you were to draw the same scene twice or multiple times, it'll never look exactly the same. Now I'm going to shade the right side of each mountain so that it looks like it's in shade. Go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go through all of them and just outline the shaded area first, and then come back and add some dark texture, which could be a solid fill, or you can hatch it, meaning draw a lot of lines very close together. So there are many different ways to achieve that effect. Here I'm going to use a pencil. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the hills. Draw a curve from the high point of the hill, which will be kind of in the middle, and shade everything to the right. So what we're implying is that the sun is to the left, and so the right side of the hills and the mountains is in shade. So your shadows are consistent. And now I'm going to do the same thing for the tree. So the right side of the tree will be darker. So I'm going to come back and add some squiggles to imply that that area is dark and in shade. And here you can have some fun with the strokes you use. It really doesn't matter. It all kind of blends in and gives the texture and the depth that you need. So you don't have to be too precise or too worried about the kind of strokes you're using. They'll all work. And now I'm going to scatter a little bit of this to the left. I'll just add a few more. And now I'm going to use a Sharpie because I want a solid black. So I'll just go along the outside with my with Sharpie, just sort of irregularly moving the nib over the tree. And that looks fine. And now I'm going to outline the clouds. Again, refining the shapes if I feel like it. They can be a little bit irregular, and certainly there's no need to follow the pencil lines too accurately. What we're trying to do is just get the approximate shape to come through. So go ahead and do that. And this is the last one. Now, the sketch is finished, but I think that the shadows may need to be developed a little bit. So, so now I'm going to, sometimes darkening the frame that you drew can help bring the whole scene together. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and solidify it, make it a real frame, so it becomes part of the composition. Just edit the lines a little bit so they go right up to the edge. I think the mountains may look better with the darker shadows, so I'm going to go over the pencil, the shaded areas with ink. And then that does help them pop out a little bit more. Add a few more shaded areas. Anywhere that I see some too much white space, we can add a little bit of shade there. Do the same thing on the trunk. Make the right edge pretty dark. And I think the clouds actually might also benefit from a little bit of shadow. So I'm going to take again the right side of each cloud shape and just shade it a little bit. And finish it out that way. And that's it. We're done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and are excited to draw. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think.